What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? It's Cartel Cruise Season 2, Episode 8. So, in this episode, I'm gonna go ahead and just get Michael out the way because the majority of this episode dealt with the ladies and their trip to San Diego to the border. So I'm gonna just basically Michael met with the representatives, his agent, whatever, and they are continuing to build the legal marijuana empire. He flew out to California to meet some movers and shakers in the field of legal marijuana, and they actually have a Blanco strand that they are cultivating. Okay, boom, got them out the way. Now, the ladies have traveled to San Diego. We have Stephanie, Nicole, Marie, Diana, and Kat, and they're with Betty, and they meet up with Betty with a friend when they get there. What's her name? Lisette. Lisette, I think her name is. So when they first, they show them flying out and everything, it's cool, whatever. And of course, we know Stephanie and Betty already sort of had a clash, but they putting it all aside for the purposes of what they're there for. And of course, they're there to protest the children being separated from their parents at the border. So they get to San Diego. They participate in a protest, right? And after the protest, they actually have an opportunity to cross the border. And there's a real moment, just like last year. And I'm going to tell you this is the one thing I do like about this show. I know we're only in season 2. But yeah, we get the fights, we get the cattiness, we get the reality TV moments. But then we also get moments like this. Like last year when they actually traveled. Where'd they go last year? Y'all know. Was it El Salvador? Wherever they went last year, where they went to visit the orphanage and they went to, do some work there. And then this episode where they went to the border and they actually, so they were on a march and they were at a rally and they got to hear stories of what's going on at the border and how families are being separated, the kids are being separated. And I mean, everybody was emotional. Everybody was in tears. Everybody was just having a moment. And then they had an opportunity to actually go cross the border and go into Mexico. And Marie, the producers had to actually say, look, once again, because of who you're dating, because of what's going on, we know that it's dangerous and we're going to have security and everything, but we just need to let you know that some stuff could pop off. So Marie made a decision not to cross the border. She called Michael, and of course Michael was like, no, I'm glad you didn't go. It just isn't safe. I'd rather you stay on this side of the wall. And so Kat also stayed back. So Nicole, Stephanie, Betty, and their other friend, they went into Mexico. And they were able to visit, they met up with a guy there who was running a refugee camp. And they were able to meet with him, and they were able to talk to families. They saw the wall. I mean, people think that the wall isn't there. The wall is there. Trump want to build the wall. What people don't understand is that there is a wall that exists. I'm going to get into all the ins and outs of this wall. But they got to see the wall. The wall even extended out into the water. They saw the border patrol. They saw that, and Stephanie actually brought up a point to say, look, you can see through the wall. So you can see America. You can see where you're trying to get to, but you can't get there. And it was very emotional. Like I said, the ladies were crying. Everybody was just really, really emotional. So on the other side, Marie and Kat actually met up with a Catholic priest, and he got to, talk to them about their side of the story, what they've been experiencing with the families that get through, and they talked about why they're leaving the country and what sort of things are going on. Like, they really, really were able to give I'm not going to get into, you all need to go watch this episode. It was a really, really good episode. It was a very emotional episode, and it dug really, really deep. This review is probably not going to be that long because I just really encourage you guys to go watch the episode and really see all the specifics. But Kat and Marie ended up meeting up. Like I said, they met up with the priest. And what they ended up doing was they ended up meeting at the border to have prayer. Because remember, you have families that are on one side and then you have families that are on the other side. And so they met in the middle to have prayer. And it was a moment. It was a moment. And just the symbolism of being on one side versus the other side, but coming together to pray. It was a lot. It was a lot, you guys. And then we saw, remember, Betty was getting together the toys and the food and the supplies to take to the refugee camp. And so they dropped those supplies off, and they had toys for the kids and school supplies and something basic as pen and paper. And the kids were just, oh my gosh, it was just heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking that these kids were scrambling for notebook paper, pens, games, toys, balls. They had all kinds of food. And like they were saying, something as basic as a toothbrush and toothpaste. They had feminine products. They had coffee. Just some of the things that you just take for granted. Just that you have every day. They were bringing these supplies down for these kids and for these families. And it was a great episode. Like I said, I'm not going to get into all the specifics, the ins and outs, because it was just so much. It was a lot. I need y'all to go watch it. Yeah. So, you know, in San Diego, I had a friend that used to live in San Diego, and I've gone to San Diego, and I could see, like, she took me to, we didn't go into Mexico, we didn't go into Tijuana, but you could see the border, and on one side is Mexico, on the other side, you know, we were on the United States, and so you definitely could see the border and see the difference. It's crazy. It's really crazy. The only conflict that came in, you guys, like I said, it was a great episode. The only conflict that came in was they had a moment where they met up with the family, and the baby in the family needed some medical attention. The baby wasn't developing well, wasn't walking, wasn't talking, was delayed in this development, and the mother was basically pleading and begging for their help. And Betty promised to get them help. And I think her name is Yvette. I don't know what I called her before, but Yvette. She told them, don't promise them. Don't make promises you're not going to keep. You can't promise that you're going to be able to get them help. Like, you can't make that promise. And Betty was like, yes, I can. And and then she changed it from I'm going to come back to I'm going to try to come back. But you're still making promises. And this woman was pleading. I mean, it's for her child. She was pleading for their help. And they were trying to tell her, like, we understand that you are caught up. We understand that it's emotional, but do not make promises that you don't know you can keep. And then Stephanie, because you know Stephanie already ain't really feeling Betty like that. Then Stephanie took it a step further and was like, don't just put on for the cameras. Like, you're showing off for the cameras. You know you can't do anything. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, you really don't have a lot of authority. I mean, people with more clout have tried to do certain things, and I don't know how you think you're going to get this woman medical help or get this woman across the border. Like, if she could get into the United States, she would be there already. So there was a little conflict there. And then, you know, Stephanie and Betty had a moment, and it looks like it's going to carry over into next week's episode. But that's really the only conflict. The organization was called Border Angels. I think his name was Hugo. So just because it's no longer on the news every day, just because it's no longer on headline news, it doesn't change the fact that it is still going on, that these families are still being separated at the border, that these people are still living in camps on one side and separated from their families on the other side. So definitely check out any of these organizations. Like I said, this organization that they worked with on this episode was called Border Angels. So you definitely can look them up if you want to make any donations, if you want to look into their organization, see if there's anything you can do. But just because it's no longer in the news every day, please do not think that it's no longer something that's going on. And so, like I said, this episode didn't have a lot of ins and outs. It was real them going to the border, them seeing what the conditions were, them meeting with people, making their donations, and really truly understanding how deep this situation is. And I applaud Cartel Crew for that. I applaud the producers. I applaud the people who make this show, because this is a much needed episode. And like I said, I'm not telling y'all a whole lot because I'm encouraging you guys to go and see it for yourselves. Anyway, drop it in those comments. Peace.